Hey, greetings, Classic Cup Tournament fans and participants. I'm here. My name is Rick Mohan. I'm one of the tournament directors for the FM Walleyes Classic Cup tournaments. I'm here with Eric. Eric, please say hello.
Hey guys, Eric Zietz.
All righty. So, guys, this is our 2021 Big Cormorant Fall Classic rules meeting. And I want to start off with as we have a bit of a tradition with an invocation. So I'll just jump right in. Tournament anglers, we've had a long tradition of remembering and recognizing old friends and tournament competitors who are no longer with us. I like to build on that tradition with a short invocation. Gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for the many blessings that you have provided us. We thank you for your amazing creation and the opportunity to pursue our fishing passions. We also thank you for the opportunity to conduct the 2021 Big Cormorant Fall Classic Walleye Tournament and the improved public health challenges that we have been facing. We ask you for your continued protection for our anglers and event staff. Please keep us safe as we travel on and off the water. I take this time and a moment of silence to remember our old tournament friends and anglers whom you have called home to be with you. Amen. So at this point, I want to also recognize our tournament sponsors. We would not be able to conduct these tournaments without their gracious support. And so we're recognizing them. You'll see their slide pop up here now of our sponsors that for the 2021 Big Cormorant Fall Classic. It includes Lund, Boats, Shields, Mercury, and some others that, again, I just want to make sure that we recognize their support and thank them for that. So the other thing then that I wanted to jump into are some general comments in that, last year things were a little bit different at Big Cormorant because of COVID. This year things are a little bit better in that we still want to recognize the public health directives in terms of social distancing and all of that, and we want to follow them. But we do have access to the Y Camp at Big Cormorant, and anglers can utilize the freezers, the walk-in coolers, and the dining hall, so that we just, again, please be respectful and recognize, the public health issues that are in place. So, but we do have access to all of their facilities. The one other issue that I just want to bring up is that there is, as we relate to all of our tournaments, there's a number of rules and regulations that all of you guys are responsible for looking at, and they're all published on our website, and you're expected to abide by them. And I'm not going to go through all of them right now. That's just not what this meeting's about. But one of the ones that we want to talk about is this 20-yard spacing between competitor boats. At no time may a competitor come alongside another boat during tournament hours, and you have to recognize a 20-yard spacing. Guys, we do patrol and we try to be proactive, but there is absolutely no way that we can ensure that that happens. That's up to you. And again, we've had a couple of issues here at Big Pine, not at Big Pine and at Pelican, and it's incumbent upon you guys to regulate yourselves. Please do that.
Yeah, be courteous, and at least, if somebody agrees to let you in closer, then, talk it out, figure it out.
We understand there's spots on a spot, but if someone's there, it is what it is. So Coast Guard approved flotation devices must be worn when the boat is under power, which means on plane. We want you to check your for AIS when launching and loading your boats. There may very well be county inspectors at the ramps. Please follow their directions and respect their directions, all of that. The other thing I want to point out, and we've never had issues in our tournaments with this, but if there's just a a weekend angler that wants to get on the ramp, they have every bit as much right to be on the water as you do. Let them get in line and turn, and let them launch. And if that means delaying someone else, that's okay. Tournaments get a really, really bad name. Not so much for us, and I've never heard anything, but you hear about tournament anglers being pretty bossy and pretty unpleasant at the ramp because, I'm fishing a tournament. I've got money at stake. I want to be on the ramp or get on the water before you do. Guys, that's just not appropriate. If someone's there to fish, you let them in the queue, take their turn, and get on the water, because that's what it means to be a good tournament angler. No alcohol is allowed on your boat during tournament hours. Live and or artificial bait is permitted. Anglers must have a valid Minnesota fishing license. Anglers must follow all Minnesota fishing regulations. Tournament patrol boats, sheriff patrol boats, and DNR boats are permitted to come alongside a competitor boat. Otherwise, we ask you, you're not allowed to do that. We've had a few situations where someone's pen didn't work. They call in, hey, can I give this guy a pen? And we let that happen. Obviously, we're going to facilitate that. But to that point, carry a damn pen that works in your boat. We're going to give you one in our packet, but sometimes they don't work. So cell phone or radio use among competitors is not permitted. We have allowed anglers to bring along cell phones for emergency use. We do reserve the right to inspect all cell phone call logs of competitors while on the water. So, if we roll up a patrol boat, hey guys, we want to see your cell phone. We're going to have you unlock it and we may ask you to show us the call log. So, just so you know. Anglers are permitted to call tournament directors with questions or to request assistance. If there's an emergency, if there's an issue, we want to hear about it. If there's a floater fish, we want to hear about it because we want to go collect it. No fish are permitted in your live well. So, it's a catch, photo, release. We're going to talk about that more. But this tournament format for 2021 is a catch, photo, release format. Please inform our staff if you see a floater. We will send a fish to recover that. Our boat, rather. We'll send a boat to recover that. The other thing I want to talk about is you must use a Judge brand ruler. We'll talk a little bit more about the packet and some of that stuff, but a Judge brand ruler. This is one that I have here. This is an older version. There's a newer version. Both are accepted. The newer version actually has, it's longer and it goes up to 36 inches, and it doesn't have to be an FM Walleyes logo Judge. There are other ones out there and that's all fine, but we just want you to use a Judge. And then you must have a camera that accepts an SD card. Actually, talking with some tournament directors here in the last month, it's not a bad idea to have a couple of cameras in the boat. We're not asking you to go out and buy a $3,000 camera. A little $100 point and shoot camera does a great job. Eric is going to talk more about taking quality photos, but having a backup isn't always a bad idea. So just lay that out. So Eric, talk about launching boats.
So both days, tournament, day 1 and day 2, boat inspections will begin at 7 a.m. at both ramps, 7 a.m. DNR requires live wells to be empty before launching. So if you roll up to the inspection with water in the live well with your bait, not going to launch. Those live wells need to be empty before you hit the water.
Our inspectors will ask you to drain it and go back around and make everything dry.
Yep. I think everybody's been through that. We fished enough live bait tournaments within the club. A lot of you guys are familiar with that, so nothing new there. Flight time. So all teams pick up your scorecard, SD card, after you get inspected. We're going to start handing those packets out around the same time, 7 o'clock at the Y Camp boat or Y Camp dock. So as it stands right now, we're going to have one flight at 8 o'clock. If we, this is, we're recording this earlier in the week. So if we do get some extra people to jump in the tournament here toward the middle of the week, we may bump that to 2 flights, but for right now, it's 1 flight. 8 o'clock, and you'll be back at 4. 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. are fishing hours. Boats are considered in at 4 o'clock if they're off plane within 300-yard view of the Y Camp dock at 4 p.m. So you don't have to hurry and get up there so we can see you. We take good notes. We have plenty of volunteers watching for anybody that's still on plane, and we haven't had any issues in the last couple of years. So keep that up.
Other than volunteers trying to mess with me, but yes.
And like I said, boats start and finish the day from the Y Camp dock. We'll launch you one at a time at 8 o'clock, and then day 2 we'll invert the field one at a time again at 8 o'clock.
So right now, guys, I'm going to publish the roster of the teams here probably Monday. So you know that if you've sent your application in, you know that we got it. And if you haven't, reach out and call. That's fine. And I've received a couple of calls over the weekend here now that things happen, and we're happy to address that. And that's why we're a little vague on our flights, because right now we're under 50, but it's possible that we'll have more than that. And then we'll just adjust the flights and do all that. But again, if you see this video, it's early in the week, you want to fish it, just reach out and call, because we can make an accommodation. We can figure that out, especially if you fished our tournaments before. We know who you are. And so, but the point is that we would love to accommodate you if it works out.
Yeah. One other note, remote parking is available at the Y Camp. So we got to keep certain spots open at the boat ramps. We can't fill them up with tournament boats. So there's a designated amount that we need to leave open. You may be asked to park over at the Y Camp. And sometimes it works out better that way anyhow, because you're parked there and your partner can grab the packet, hop in the boat, go out for the day. So.
Yeah, and there's coffee at the dining hall that we make available to everybody, and restrooms and all that stuff. And it's a nice sandy beach to go. Well, there's docks, but there's a nice sandy beach if you want to just pull up and beach. So that's really nice about this this facility. So in any event, please avail yourself of that. Don't expect bad weather. If it's a soupy mess, obviously we don't want to park down in the meadow there at the Y Camp. But there's parking up the hill as well. So
yeah. All right. Turn it
well,
over to you.
So the awards presentation we're planning on will be at the Y Camp. So when you're done fishing, you're going to bring the packets in. It takes us a while to process all that stuff. But we're planning on having a live awards presentation as we have done, I think, at all of our events this year. At the camp, I know at Big Pine it was pretty soggy, so a lot of folks took off, and I understand that. But we'll be there, and we'll be able to provide our awards. The Classic Cup points, we'll make efforts to try to put that all together, depending on how that plays out. That may take a little more time, but we're just going to reserve the right to share that information, maybe a little delayed by a day or two, because we want to make sure we get it right. So at this point, Eric, talk to us a little bit about, I want to talk to you guys about what you're going to get at the dock. When you come to the dock, well, you're going to get an envelope. I have that upside down, sorry. It have your number on it so that you can organize yourselves out on the water. You know what place you're in when you get released. But then you're going to get a packet. And this packet includes a card you can see here that you record your fish on. It's going to have a pen, and it's going to have an SD card. And again, it's incumbent upon you to have a camera that will accept an SD card of this size. We do have some of the micro SD cards that we can accommodate those cameras as well, but this is our preferred method. And as I mentioned earlier, it's not a bad idea to have a second camera. We've had a couple of instances where the SD cards don't talk to your camera. And we do have a number, well, I think we have 4 backup cameras loaners that we can just provide you. But when they're loaned out, they're loaned out. So, you know, and you don't need a $3,000 camera. You just need a point and shoot. You can get it on Amazon for less than $100. So have that. There'll also be a ribbon for the day, and I didn't show you the ribbon because I don't want you to know what the color of the day is going to be. That you're supposed to tie on the ruler that I showed you earlier, so that we validate the right color with the color of the day.
You need to have the ribbon in the picture with the fish.
Right, right. So that's the packet, and again, you'll get a packet every day, and then you'll return it at the end of the day with your cards. The other thing I would point out, guys, is that it's important for you guys to select the fish that you want us to record. So, I mean, if you record 4 fish, okay, we're going to measure 5. But you know, that's kind of obvious. But technically, you're supposed to sign the card. If you didn't sign the card, that could be a contestable issue. But you know, if you have the beauty of this catch photo release tournament is that you can take pictures and record 20, 30 fish if you want, but you have to pick the ones you want us to record. And there's a place on the card to indicate that, and then you sign it. Anything else, Eric, there in that regard?
No.
Okay. So please do that. Please sign it. And Eric's got some more things about doing the catch photo release.
Yeah, just to touch on what Rick said there with the ruler. First thing, make sure you tie your ribbon onto the ruler. We need that ribbon in the picture with your fish. That tells us when that picture was taken, okay? The next couple slides we're going to go through. One, we're going to show you good pictures. And then 2 slides are going to be with bad pictures. The first slide of bad pictures, you're going to see some actual pictures where a hand is covering the front of the fish so we can't see the bump board of the ruler. So if the head isn't touching the bump board and we can't see that it's touching the bump board, it's a disqualification. We actually had a couple teams over our tournament 2 weeks ago that had that disqualification. The other picture is just what we call a washout. Remember, if the sun is out and it's bright, it's going to put a reflection on that ruler, and it's hard for us to see anything on the ruler. We might be able to see lines once in a while, and we can count backwards if we can see the numbers But if we can't see the numbers or we can't even see the lines, we're not going to take the time to look at it. We're going to disqualify the fish. So take your
And we
time.
hate doing that.
We do hate doing it. It's not fun. Please take your time when you take your pictures. Same thing with dark shadows. That can be a problem too. If it's too dark, we can't see the ruler. So it's asking for perfectness, guys. I understand it, and it's really tough out there, and it can be challenging, but please do your best. The other thing I would say is take as many pictures as you possibly can. I mean, there's plenty of space on these cards. You can take 3 or 4 pictures on the ruler if you have to. And then at the end, make sure you take your picture releasing the fish, or your trophy picture while you're holding the fish up. So that just tells us that's a break in between fish. The last slide, another bad pictures that we're going to go through, is something that's really popped up in the last few years. If your hands are inside the mouth or inside the gill plates at all, fingers, anything, it's going to be disqualified. We didn't address this, I guess, at the beginning of the Pelican tournament. We're addressing it now. So this is your warning. If your fingers are inside the mouth, touching the board, if your finger's in here or your hands under the gill plate, it's going to be disqualified. We're not going to do that stuff. So both hands on top of the fish. We need to see the head on the bump and the tail crossing the line at the end. We don't want just a tail picture. We got to have the whole fish in that picture. So if anybody has any questions, you know how to get a hold of us. Mouth can be open or closed. We don't care. You can pinch the tail. You can swipe the tail. Do whatever you need to do to make it whatever it is, but just make sure it's legible for us to see.
Kyle Avery and Brenton Hall here of FM Walleyes. We are your Little Pine and Devil's Lake Angler Young Angler Tournament Directors. We want to talk a little bit today about the catch, record, release format. Brenton, let's just talk a little bit about leading up to the tournament and the day of the tournament, how we are prepared for that.
So what you're going to want to bring with you on the day of the tournament is your red judge ruler. That is the ruler that we do use as the official ruler for our AYA events. Bring your judge ruler. We do have some available for you to borrow or rent during the events, and we have some available for purchase as well. Also, you're going to want to prepare for the event by having a camera that will put the pictures onto a standard size SD card, not a micro card, but we need that a camera that will put the pictures onto a standard card. From there, the morning of the tournament, we're going to deliver a bag to you at the launch, and that bag is going to have your SD card for that day. It's going to have your scorecard and a colored ribbon. Now you're going to need that colored ribbon to be in your picture, which Kyle's going to talk about in a minute, and you're going to use that SD card to record your pictures during that tournament day. And if you do want to do some practicing with our SD cards the night before at the rules meeting, we're going to have those available, Kyle, so that you can bring your cameras out, make sure they work on the cards, and plan and prepare for the next day.
Yep, we want to be prepared the morning of the tournament. Once we get out on the water, hopefully we see our anglers catching a lot of fish, and that's what we want to do. The intention of this tournament and this tournament format is to get the fish landed and in the boat, to get them measured, recorded, and released as quickly as possible. So the process is going to look like this. That walleye will first be taken out of the net and unhooked. We're going to lay that out on the judge ruler. We want a photo of one of the team members holding that fish on the judge ruler. Now it's important that we can see the nose of that fish touching the bump on the bottom end of the ruler, and then also where we can see the tail in terms of getting an accurate measurement and verifying that measurement. You can take as many photos as you would like. Once you get one you're satisfied with, then what we're going to do is we're going to take a hero shot. That indicates to us as tournament directors that we have the end of one fish and we can look for a new fish after that. A hero shot is simply a shot with one of the team members, preferably one who caught the fish, holding that fish. Once we get the hero shot, we immediately release that fish into the water, and hopefully that process is done as quickly as we possibly can. Once the fish is released, then we go into our scorecard, and we're going to write down the score, meaning the length of that fish, remembering that if the length touches a line, let's say it's 16-inch walleye, it touches a 16-inch line, we're going to record 1/4 inch above. So if it touches 16 inches, we're going to record that fish as 16 1/4. And we record it on our card at that point in time, and then we can go resume fishing.
At the end of the day, you're going to have hopefully a full scorecard, Kyle, of all the fish that you had enjoyed catching during the day. We need you to circle the amount of fish that we're weighing for that tournament. We need you to circle the ones you want us to weigh to factor into your weight for the day, and we need you to make sure that the angler's name who caught those fish is next to that measurement, because remember, we do give out a special prize to the largest fish caught by a boy and the largest fish caught by a girl at our tournament. So we want to make sure that we know who to celebrate with those big catches for the day. And of course, if our adult angler catches one of the fish that we're going to weigh for that day, we still want that name on there too, so that we can use it for our results verification.
It's a fun way to do a tournament. It lets us to score all of the big fish we catch during the day, really in avoiding our slot limitations if we were to bring the fish into the boat and bring them up to a scale. It's important to remember, Brenton, one of the things we want to make sure our teams are aware of is that at no time are we allowed to put a walleye into a live well into our boat. Our live wells need to be clean the entire day while we're out on the water. And as you are demonstrating, all of our participants need to be wearing their life preservers while they're out on the water participating in the AYA tournament. We wish everybody the best of luck. Look forward to seeing you there at the next AYA event.
Well, anyway, guys, we're excited about our 2021 wrap-up of the Classic Cup Tournament Series at Big Cormorant. And really looking forward to seeing everyone, and hoping we have some really great weather, some great fishing, and looking forward to seeing all of you. Looking forward to seeing Eric. So have a great evening. And again, if you have questions, reach out to me or Eric, and we'll try to sort it out for you.
See you guys this weekend.